Hey everybody, this is JC Tan again, and as promised, I'll be sharing today how people actually make money through real estate. But before that, if you're new to my channel, please do not forget to subscribe and also hit the bell icon below to get notified if there is any new videos uploaded on my channel. Really appreciate your support, guys. So please, do share and like and comment down below. I hope you guys can see my screen. All right. So on my screen, you can actually see three different ways of how people in real estate actually make money in real estate transactions. It could actually through fees and commissions charged to perform every action in terms of selling or buying real estate properties. But really, I want to go ahead and get started with the most common one, which is the real estate related income. This is actually the most traditional. This is what majority of people knows how we earn through real estate, and that's going to start with a broker. Of course, there's going to be seller and buyer involved, but really it starts with a broker. So first of all, let me just define what is a broker. So like, broker actually is the one that's managing real estate agents. These are the people that receive more training and also more courses, so pretty much they're higher than real estate agents because really they can sell or even help someone buy properties. They can actually work independently to facilitate any real estate transactions, whereas real estate agents, they cannot do that without being under a brokerage company or without being under a broker, because real estate agents, they can only sell or they can only have access to portfolios if they're under brokers. So basically, brokers and real estate agents, these two people actually earn money, like I said earlier, through fees and commissions charged. Either they charge to the buyer or the seller depending on how they are helping them or like what's their role on a specific transaction. Normally, the broker would charge between 1 to 2% out of a real estate transactions from a real estate agent, and real estate agents normally earns between 4 to 6% of every real estate transactions. So there's different real estate agents, but before I get down to that, I'm sure that you guys have heard the term realtors. I just wanted to make it clear that basically realtors are also real estate agents. Actually, I wanted to just highlight that realtors and real estate agents are pretty much different in a way, because a realtor is like a licensed real estate agent or broker that's actually a member of the National Association of Realtors, or NAR. So like, not all real estate agents are realtor, because if they're not a member of NAR or the National Association of Realtors, then they're just real estate agents pretty much. All right. So we have different real estate agents. We have the selling or listing agents. These are the people that basically connect sellers to buyers. So their main role is to actually help sellers sell their property and, basically look for buyers either through different online marketings, different online marketing, showing properties, also doing bandit signs and stuff like that. While buying agents, it's the opposite of selling agent. It's pretty straightforward. These are the agents that basically connects the buyers or investors, because investors are the ones that are buying properties, to sellers. So like, they have buyers and they wanted to help them with a certain criteria. Like, if I'm an investor and I want to look for a warehouse, I want to be able to have this buying agent help me find a warehouse that actually match my criteria. There's also dual agents, but not all states. Dual agents are not legal to all states. There are certain states that you can only be a selling agent or a buying agent. So, but there are also states that you can represent both the buyer and the seller of the same transaction. So you can, when you have a seller, then you also like get a commission from being able to like help your buyer find that seller. So like, being able to like hit two birds in one stone, right? So like, you being able to get paid from those two transactions. So again, this is the most traditional, and I'm sure that this is what people really know about in terms of real estate, but that's not really just what it is, right? There's also what we call real estate investing. Real estate investing in a way for us to like really make money, and this is huge. This is really how people turn into a millionaire because when you do have money, you can definitely invest in real estate. Although not every time you would actually be needing money to invest in real estate. All right. So these are the four common real estate investing strategy that is actually being used by most investors. And the first one is the most common one as well. The first one is if you do have the money, or even if you don't, actually you can go ahead and buy, fix, and then flip a property. Like it's also called renovation flipping, right? So the process is you purchase low, meaning you look for an ugly house, you purchase it, you renovate it, and then you sell quickly. That's how it is. Meaning you don't have an intention to really live in the property, rather you bought it for the sake of being able to also earn from the property itself. So let's say you bought it for 100,000, and then you fix it up for 50,000, and then you resell it for 250. That gives you a profit of $100,000. Now for buy, fix, and hold, it's also self-explanatory. Buy, fix, and hold is being able to like buy a property, but instead of like fixing it, so it's the same, it's the same analogy. You purchase it low, you look for an ugly house, you renovate it, but instead of flipping it, meaning instead of like reselling it, you try to hold it for yourself for the purpose of actually having a long-term rental property. So if you do have a portfolio, like you are an investor that intends to actually keep property for cash flow, these are long-term rentals. Or this can also be just the Airbnb properties or vacation homes. A lot of people in the US are actually doing this right now. And basically, again, if you do have the money, these two are one of the best strategy you can go ahead and start doing. But if you don't have the money yet to do that, you can actually try these two other strategies that you basically need less money. I wouldn't say you don't need money, because at the end of the day you would be needing money to buy tools, right? I'm sure that some of you may have heard this the first time, but it's called wholesaling or contract flipping. What does that mean? The investors here is also called wholesalers. What they do is they basically find a motivated seller that needs to sell their house fast, and they normally would want to buy the property at between 30 to 40% discount. As I want to go back to the term motivated, meaning these are the people that really need to sell their house in exchange of fast cash, like in a very difficult situation, that they can go ahead and proceed with providing 30-40% discount because they're in a desperate situation to really sell the property. So like wholesalers actually don't really buy the property most of the time, or majority of the time, at least 90%. But what they do is they basically just contract the home and assign it to a buyer. So like the wholesaler here act more like a middle person, like a salesperson. I think the only difference between the wholesaler and the real estate agent is the fact that the wholesaler is not a registered, or like not a licensed person, but in reality they are acting in behalf of the seller, but assigning that contract to a buyer, like to an end buyer. So they handle the marketing part in behalf of the seller, but instead of like charging the seller for commission, they basically earn from like getting that contract. So for example, I get the property under contract for $50,000. Now I do have a buyer, like an end buyer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and assign that contract to my end buyer at $60,000. So I basically didn't earn a commission. I also didn't ask the seller to renovate the property or to do anything else. I didn't ask the seller to pay for commissions, for any fees, for any repairs, or any closing costs. But instead, I just asked the seller to sell it to me without fixing the property and such. And I'll look for a buyer that's going to buy it from you. And normally these buyers, like the end buyers, are also the investors that are fixing properties just because they didn't have time to look for motivated sellers themselves. They do work with wholesalers to help them find properties. So basically, they would earn $10,000 assignment fee out of that transaction, depending on how much the assignment fee that was asked by the wholesaler. Sometimes it's actually a lot more than $10,000. Right? So if you are watching this video and you're in the US, you most likely want to consider wholesaling. Wholesaling is, I want to call it more of like a marketing strategy. Now, for the last one is actually creative financing. We call it creative financing because it's the creative way of actually like buying the property, right? So there's like three creative financing that I know of, or I want to share. Basically, these are the most common one. It's the wholesaling lease option. It's almost the same as wholesaling, but instead of like buying it right there and then, you will have the option to basically list the property for about a specific term, let's say 1-2 years, with the option to buy the property in the future. So you find a seller who wants to sell their house but do not want it to be or cannot be a typical landlord. So you want to take over that responsibility and be the one to like list it from them for about a year or two with the intention to buy it in the future. You also are not intended to really buy the property yourself or to even rent it out yourself, but you would assign it to an end tenant buyer. Okay, which is again similar to wholesaling. I will have like a separate videos of individual topics that's stated here. So just in case that I'm going too fast, I'm sure that I will have separate videos on this. And then normally for wholesaling lease option, as I mentioned, wholesaling is like normally between 30-40% discount. Wholesaling lease option is almost close to market value. So this is very, very applicable to people that don't really need to sell the property fast, but just don't want to be managing the properties or to do maintenance on the properties. Okay. Then we also have the seller or owner financing. I'm gonna go ahead and discuss both, like the subject to and seller owner financing. The only difference is with that and no debt. What I mean by that is if you want to do owner financing, you have to make sure that there's really no debt involved on the property anymore, or at least there's high equity available on the property. Because seller financing is the process of the seller providing you the loan, not the bank. So the traditional way of buying property is you find a property, then you get a loan from the bank, and then the bank actually would provide you with an interest, whatnot. Then you get to pay it for like a couple of years or so, right? Instead of you getting that loan from the bank, it's actually you talking to the seller and asking them if they can directly finance the property to you. So this scenario normally applies to people that don't really necessarily need to sell the property fast, because they can wait for as long as they can get the market value of the property that they want, but they're willing to like loan the property. For example, they're not really using it. It's very, very applicable for people that have like vacant houses and they're out of state and they just really want to go ahead and sell the property, but they wanted to get the market value of the property, not to sell it at a discount. So they're more interested in getting what they're asking and would want you to make payments on the long term. So that's seller financing. Well, subject to, like I said, it's no debt versus with that. Subject to is with that, meaning to say these strategy is applicable for sellers who just wanted to save themselves from having like a really bad credit history. If they ended up like not being able to pay the mortgage loan, then at the end of the day, they can be kicked out of the house and they will have like really bad credit history, right? So to avoid that, real estate investors are looking for motivated sellers or people that are in this situation to be able to buy the property subject to the existing mortgage. The only downside to this is normally the bank doesn't know. So the property owner basically still owes the bank, right, from that property. So normally they didn't know that someone actually bought the property subject to the existing mortgage. So like pretty much you're buying it under the existing mortgage, like you're just taking over it. It's still going to be under the original owner's name, but you're just taking over the actual mortgage. So like the deed is now controlled by you or by the investor. Like even the HOA taxes, you take over the mortgage, but the bank name loan stays under the same owner. Again, this is normally applicable for people that are in a situation that they wanted to just save like a really bad credit history. All right. So yeah, these are the most common real estate investing strategies that I would want to cover in my next videos. So please, again, do not forget to hit the bell button to make sure that you are going to be notified for my next videos and be able to provide you with a detailed explanation of each strategies and how you can potentially get leads for these strategies. Other professional services, meaning how like other ways for you to make money in real estate. Actually, there's title companies. If you want to open up a title companies, these are the people that actually help real estate professionals or real estate investors, real estate agents to manage or to even like close the escrow, things like that. All of that are within the title companies, just to make sure that everything will be processed correctly. So like title companies are making sure that the title, like they're the one that verifies the title to the real estate transaction. So like to make sure that it's legitimate and it's properly done. Normally they're also being worked on, like they would work with transaction coordinator that just helps the real estate agents coordinate all these transactions. There's also property management. These are the people that really manage property in behalf of property owners who have a lot of rental properties. They can't manage it themselves, so they get property management. Other services are cleaning services, there's lending, there's real estate photographers, videographers, we have marketing agencies like myself, and there's actually many more ways to earn money in real estate. So it's a very, very exciting topic. So please, if you do have any questions, I hope that this actually give you more of an idea how we are helping, or like what do people really do in real estate, and just be able to like have a little bit of understanding on how people would generate income from real estate. If you do have any questions, please do leave them in the comment section below. Thank you so much again, and have a great day.